to the idea of hitting Success Club month after month after month. So how do you do it? Well, for those of you who are new to the team and are not familiar with this idea of Success Club, it's basically just a challenge pack counting as 2 points and a Shakeology HD on its own counting as 1 point. When you achieve 5 points, you have hit Success Club for the month. Once you're an Emerald coach, and you have a coach, meaning you have a coach on your left leg and a coach on your right leg, the company sends you leads. And those leads compound over time. So as you can imagine, after 3 years of having leads continually month after month, I've grown hundreds of customers over that time period. So knowing that, and knowing that I was achieving those goals, and knowing that month after month, I was just doing the basics. I was just, focusing on not just achieving Success Club, but making sure that those points were connected to people, that I was helping those people get results. And then those people were getting results. And then those people were becoming coaches. And then those people were starting to duplicate the same exact thing that I did. The other thing I think about now, especially now, is that I know it to be true that it helped me. And I know that it worked, and I know that doing this allowed me to grow because it gave me something to focus on. It gave me something to push towards. It gave me something tangible that I knew would work. So when I think about it now, yes, it's the given, but it's also how it changed my business. I didn't know how else to help people unless I was pairing them with a challenge pack or telling them about Shakeology HD. It was a way for me to help them understand the best way that I knew how to help them get healthy. Because if I was focused on those numbers, if I was focused on Success Club, the rest of it was going to fall into place. Success Club means that people are staying on Shakeology HD. Success Club means that volume is growing with myself and with my team. And it allows everything else to sort of fall into place. I really think in this business and in our position as coaches, this is the basic. This is what I do month after month to move my business forward. So true story, this month is a struggle for me. I had some other goals. I had other things that I was working towards. And now at the end of the month, I'm actually noticing a big decline in my usual Success Club points. But I, no matter what, know that I will hit Success Club 10 every month because that is what I expect of myself. And I wouldn't ask my coaches to do that if I myself wasn't willing to do it either. So that really is truly how it changed my business, is I just focused on helping those 3 people. Those 3 people meant that I was achieving Success Club 5. So how do you break that down then? How do you say to yourself, okay, I want to be able to help 3 people a month, but how am I going to do it? How am I going to make sure that I am helping them? So here are some of my top tips for making sure that you're hitting Success Club. And you can do it now. If you say to yourself, Katie, I'm at SC0, how am I going to do this? You can do it. I mean, it's just really, truly a numbers game and how you can actually do it. So hold on one second. All right, so here are some of my tips. Okay, so right now it's August, right? We know that kids are going back to school. We know that people are busy. We know that fall is around the corner. We know that people are packing up their bathing suits and they're waiting to wear them again until next year, right? We know all of that. So why is getting healthy something that it's a priority now? Well, most people aren't thinking it is. So this is where we have to get creative with it. We have to get creative with the way we're talking about it, the way we're inviting people, the way that we are really presenting ourselves on social media. So personally, for me, I think of where I was when I was teaching full-time in August. Okay, so what goes through my mind? I'm going back to school. Nick is going back to daycare. I don't want him to go to daycare, so I'm kind of emotional. I'm thinking about how there's loads of laundry to do, how I haven't had to pull out the ironing board in months, in the last 2 months, and now I have to get it back out because I need to iron my pants in the evening. I need to think about packing those lunches the night before. And so my brain is working in this process of going back to school. My brain is starting to shift to prepping and almost leaving summer behind. And so when I realized that and I focused on that, it's almost like I took all of those things that were going on in my head, all of those objections that I was making in my head about not having time, about having too much on my plate, about not being able to keep balance. I was able to almost word vomit it out on Facebook. So it's like the way I was thinking was a post. Every objection I was putting into my head was becoming a post. And so I would just think about my potential customer and the objections that they were having, and I would create a post to counter that objection. So if I was thinking to myself something like, I don't have time to meal prep, I would start posting about how to make meal preps really easy, right? So, okay, so Laura this morning had a great post. She had, and it was so simple, but she just showed baggies of spinach and fruits, and she just had like 7 of them like lined up like for all week. And I was like, I never thought about that, but as a teacher who was going back to school, that's perfect. Like, have the baggies all ready to go, throw them in with your shake in the morning, and boom, you're out the door. So don't just think, is this going to get them into my challenge group? Think, how can I help? Just give, like, just give. How can I help moms? How can I help fellow teachers? How can I help those people who are like they hate this time of year, you know? So think about that, and then talk about the connection, right? So you have these ideal posts, you have these things, you have these objections, you have all of this. How is this going to fit into your challenge group? How is that objection going to be perfect for your challenge group? It's that idea. It's Gary Vaynerchuk's jab, 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 right hook, you know? Basically, you give, and then you say, this is how I can give you more. You kind of invite them into the concept of, this challenge group can give you more. If you like what you saw on Facebook, this is how I can give you more, right? So every objection, you know, that they're thinking, and just brainstorm it, you know, just go onto a scratch piece of paper and just start writing down words and phrases and things that people are thinking about right now. They're thinking about fall. They're thinking about skinny jeans. They're thinking about Honeycrisp apples. They're thinking about, what are those things and what do they look like? And how can you put this all together into almost like a bundled package? So that's one way to do it, right? And then, so the other thing is, when you're creative about your challenge groups, you're not just saying, this is the slim down challenge. You know, you're saying, what does it have to do with fall? What does it have to do with being busy? What does it have to do with going back to school? What does it have to do with being what my consumer needs, what my potential customer needs? So then for Hitting Success Club, to assure you do it, don't just do it once a month. Do it twice. Do it twice. Do it once at the beginning of the month, once in the middle of the month. Challenge yourself to run more than one challenge group, because what happens if somebody's been thinking about this challenge group and they miss the boat at the beginning of the or at the beginning of the month, and then they say, oh, I really wish she was running another one. And then before you know it, a whole month goes by and there's nothing else on the table. You have nothing else to offer. When you're almost running it twice a month, chances are those people who are up in the air, you're going to catch them on the second one. Give that challenge group a theme. Give it something that's original to who you are. You know, there's my next challenge group. I am stoked about it because it's really about the type of group that I love doing. And it's for people who have stuff on their plate. They have stuff. They have the loads of laundry, but maybe they're overcoming more. And I know I do well with those kind of groups because I'm passionate about it. You know, if you're passionate about clean eating, that should be the kind of group that you run. If you're passionate about doing insanity and you love insanity, do an insanity group, but find what works for you. The other thing is, I think a lot of times people hold back as coaches because you're waiting for me to give you the green light. You're waiting for me to say, yep, do that. That's a great idea. You can't. You have to just do it. You know, if you have an idea, go for it. If you know what you want to be able to achieve by the end of the month, you have to just go for it. Don't wait for permission from me or from your upline or for somebody else about running a challenge group. Just do it. Just do it. If you want to do a 5-day sneak peek into coaching, just do it. If you want to do, a 7-day clean eating trial, look in the KB document files. There's tons of stuff in there. Just do it. You know, if you have questions, ask. But for the most part, it's your business. You're the CEO of it. Do what you want to do with the business. Make yourself strive and make yourself say, I don't need somebody else's permission or somebody to hold my hand. I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to do it. I'm going to take an idea and I'm going to run with it. And that idea might fail. And that idea might not take the way I want it to, but I can tweak it a little bit and I can change my wording up a little bit. It's okay if nobody liked my post about my mom, because I know that somebody eventually, it's going to be the right post at the right time with the right person. And if you don't wait for somebody else to give you permission, you're just going to flow. You're just going to do it. And you're going to become more confident in your ability to run groups. You're going to become more confident in the way that you're posting about your groups. You're going to be confident in the themes that you're giving to your groups. You're being original with your content. And then you're also being authentic to who you are. Okay, another tip for you I have about Success Club is those follow-ups. I have an Excel document filled with names of people that I've asked to be in the challenge groups, people who have rejected me, people who were not interested in a challenge group at a time. I cannot express to you how many times I have gone back to customers who told me no months ago when they finally say yes, because I ask. You have to be willing to follow up. You are not a pest. You are not bothering them. You are truly being professional. And honestly, I think in most cases, people are actually thankful for it. Even if they say no, the fact that you thought of them enough to follow up with them means something. It means that for 1 second of a busy day, you had them on their mind. You were thinking of them. And that means something. You know, we are always on the go. We're always doing. We're always busy. So when you take time out of your day to say, hey, you know, I know we talked last month. I know that you had mentioned that you really wanted to drop that 10 or 15 pounds. First and foremost, how is that going? How are you doing with that? And talk to them. Ask them questions. Engage with them. And then, you know, talk to them about what you have upcoming and why it would be a good fit for them. Why you think they would be wonderful in it. Take that extra little bit to just make sure that they understand that you care, that they're not just a sale, that you truly are interested in them. And the other tip I have for you about those follow-ups is however you're documenting or however you're writing down the people that you're talking to or you're conversing to, add to the column or next to their name just a section for notes, because you'll be surprised if you're inviting at least 2 people a day, how quickly that adds up. You can forget what people were saying or what their needs were, what their interest was. So when you have a note section, it's really easy to go back and sort of jog your memory or and kind of go back to what your initial conversation was. Okay, so another tip I have for hitting Success Club is that you have to see it, you have to believe it, and you have to know that it matters. So you have to set a goal. I know that as coaches, we say that term, goals, 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 goals. What are your goals? What are your goals? What are your goals? I know we talk about that a lot because they matter. Because if you don't have a goal, you don't really have anything that you're working towards. So all of a sudden, if you don't have a goal, it doesn't matter if you hit Success Club or not. What's it matter? If you don't see and if you don't visualize what you want to be able to achieve, what does hitting Success Club even matter? So for me, I break this down a little bit more. I always think to myself, I cannot ask my coaches to do something that I myself am not willing to do. So I know in my business that I make Success Club 10 a non-negotiable. And I do that because it ensures me leads, but more importantly, in this role, in my leadership role now, I find it important that if my coaches see me achieving Success Club 10, they're not going to stop at 5. They're going to grow their business because they're going to push for 10. But that starts with me. That starts with me saying that's my goal. And it doesn't have to be your goal. It doesn't have to be what you want to do. But I know that if I step up my game and I don't stop at 5 because 5's safe, my coaches are going to start stepping up 2 to 10. The other one is 2, and this one gets a little tricky. I don't think that a lot of people really focus on their volume a week. So volume is the amount of sales, the number of sales that you bring in a week. And personally, for me, that number is 500. So between my business centers, I strive every week to achieve a minimum of 500 PV. And I do this because it tells me that no matter what, if my customers are becoming coaches, I still am replacing them with a new customer. So that even if they become a coach and I no longer have the personal volume for it, I'm still setting goals to make sure that I'm keeping a consistent 500 a week. And I know that when I do that, and when my coaches look on the leaderboards and they see my name, they're going to say, I can do that too. And they're going to step it up. Because I can't ask my coaches to do something that I myself am not willing to do. And I'm big on that. I believe that. It's not fair of me to ask that. Just like you wouldn't ask your challengers to use a product that you yourself aren't using, right? You wouldn't say, buy Shakeology, it works so well, you're going to get great results, and you've never had it yourself. It doesn't work like that. You can't do it that way. And it's the same with the business. I can't say hit Success Club and then not hit Success Club. So as you start to take on these leadership roles in your challenge groups or in your business, you're going to start to see you have to become the model for it. You have to be willing to say, I am going to do this. This is my non-negotiable, and I'm just going to start setting the bar. I'm going to start setting the bar high, and then I'm going to push it a little bit higher every time. So when I'm talking about those follow-ups, and I'm talking about volume, and I'm talking about all of these things, what do we need to do? You know, I know we talked about this being the slow month, and I am almost sort of a little bit out of order. I wish I would have put this first. I know we talked about thinking like the consumer. We're talking about marketing to our consumers. We know who they are. You're making the objections, the here part of your post. Like, this is what I want you to get from my post. But a couple things that you need to really remember too is that if you keep saying it is a slow month, it's going to just be the slow month. If you keep saying August is the worst month, it's going to be the worst month. But if you change your mindset a little bit and you say, yeah, I'm going to hit Success Club 10. Yeah, I'm going to hit Success Club 20. Yeah, I'm going to hit Success Club 5. You're going to do it. But it's a belief. It is that idea that if I just shift my mindset and I say I'm going to do it, I am going to do it. So how do you get there? How do you get to that point? Well, this is what I'm doing for me. This is what I'm doing. I'm no longer saying it's a slow month. I am going to just make this a good month. I'm going to have a lot of conversations. I'm going to put a lot of the wheels in motion to have people understand the value of Shakeology. I'm going to go back and I'm going to follow up, and then I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to do it again. I'm not going to follow up with one person. I'm going to follow up with those people who said no, or those people who ignored me, or those people who said, check in with me next month. That's where I'm going to start. And I am also going to pull out the chart that does make a huge difference. And this is that go for no chart. It is available in the file section of the Knockout Brigade. But what it means to go for no is, again, if you shift your mindset. If instead of looking at it like this is a slow month or I can't stand the idea of getting another no, you say, I'm okay with a no. I'm going to go for no. I'm just going to hear a no and be 100% okay with hearing a no. All right. So how do we go about getting no's? Because at the end of the day, if you ask 10 people to be in your challenge group, 1 or 2 of them is going to say yes. So ask yourself, am I really inviting 2 people a day? And I really think a lot of it goes back to being honest with yourself. How many invites am I saying? How many invites am I giving out? So let's talk about invites too. You know, an invite, when you have an invite on your wall and you're inviting people in your challenge group, I don't count that as an invite, as a personal invite. That is just a post. And if people, you know, want to do it because they liked your post, awesome. That really isn't 1 to 2. You can't expect people to always come to you. You know, as somebody who is a product of the product, there are hesitations that people have. Sometimes too, people don't even see your post in the news feed. Only 10% of your friends, I think, ever see your posts. So with that in consideration, and with that in mind, you have to say, okay, somebody might not see that post, which means I need to do a better job of sending out these personal invites. I need to do a better job of making sure that I'm having conversations with people. And so what we do is we go back to the basics, right? We form our current friends. By form, I mean family, occupation, recreation, and finally your message. You're going back and you're saying to them, oh my gosh, I just saw your kiddos on Facebook. I can't believe your son is going to kindergarten. How crazy is that? I've been thinking about you. How are you? Starting a conversation. Take it a step further and then go into your friends list, right? And then go and check out mutual friends that you may know, people you may know under their friends, and just start talking to people, inviting people. This might sound crazy, but one thing that I do whenever I message people is I actually say, if I've never met them before, hey, I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Katie Ersta. Facebook has this really funny way of telling you that you should be friends with people. Anyways, I just love networking. I see we have some stuff in common. Wanted to say hello. Swear I'm not a creeper. And then LOL. I leave it up there. I just let it go like that. And then a lot of times they message me back and they say, oh, that's cool. It's very casual. There's no pressure. And I've just made a mutual friend who's probably going to go onto my wall and see what this is all about. Starting conversations with people. When you're out in public, in the grocery store, having your meal plan out in your grocery cart where it says your blog name or T25 fast track plan, or looking at the woman beside you who has the kids in the grocery cart and just saying something like, oh my gosh, my daughter has that same jacket. That's so cute. Are your kiddos getting ready for school too? Starting a conversation with them and bringing them back to your Facebook page. You have to start getting uncomfortable with getting uncomfortable. You have to start saying to yourself, the more I do this, the more I'm going to get better at this. But the more you say, I can't do this, the more you won't do it. And the more this is just going to become hard. And then it's going to be, I want to give up because this is hard. This is not hard. This is easy. It's just uncomfortable. There's a difference between those two things. Asking for referrals. Even if somebody says no, asking them if they know anyone who might be interested. Another great way to do it. Keep the conversation on them. When you're really in the process of inviting people, when you're in the process of talking about your challenge groups, you're focused on their goals. You're focused on their needs. You're focused on what they want to be able to achieve and how the challenge group can help them. Not how it can help you, how it can help them. It's all about fearlessly inviting. You're pushing all of those doubts and all of those they might say no's, and I don't know if this is going to work. You're pushing all of that aside and you're just getting back to basics. You're just inviting. You're just talking to people. You know, it's true, because the bigger area of influence that you have, the more you do this, the more you have this idea of this chart and these go for no's and these conversations that you're having, the more you have of that, the more people that are going to grow in your network, the more people who are going to come to you. 3 years into this business, I still invite. If you think that, you know, you get to this magical place in your business where you no longer have to invite, that doesn't happen. So I'm sorry if I'm kind of bursting your bubble right now. I would never ask you to do something that I myself am not willing to do. And when my points are down, I can guarantee you it is because I will take ownership and tell you it's because my invites are down. You don't stop inviting. You don't stop sharing. And every time you do it, you say to yourself, how can this help someone? How can I motivate someone? How can I inspire someone? How can this help them? You take it off of you and you put it on them. You focus on them. But there is no magical day where you just, you just kind of say, I arrived at my goal. I no longer have to invite. People are going to come right to me. It does not work that way. You're still setting goals. You're still doing the basics. You're still inviting. Because the more you do of that, the more the people that you bring into your organization are going to do that exact same thing. Make sense? Okay, so here's the numbers. This is just numbers. Invite 10 people. 1 to 2 of them are going to join your challenge group. You're going to have very good conversation with them. Go back to the scripts that are available throughout the Knockout Brigade. I have tons of documents. If you're not sure where a script is, or you're looking for a particular script, ask for it. Ask what you need to do. If you get stuck on how to word things, ask, just figure out, like, what is my wording supposed to look like? I need to see a script, and that all is available to you. But there can be 1,000,010 scripts, and they can be the perfect script. But if you aren't doing the basics, it doesn't matter. If you aren't still forming, if you aren't starting conversations, asking for referrals, if you aren't doing those things, you are not going to have success in finding people. You aren't. The scripts won't matter. All right, so let's talk about the Fearless Invite. And let's talk about what you need to do tonight. Tonight, not tomorrow, not the kids are kind of cranky, I'm going to go to bed, or I'm tired. This is the invite that you send tonight. And you can reword it a little bit for how you want to say it, but this is where I want you to do it. Hey, I loved seeing the pictures of the kiddos this weekend. They are getting so big. Or you plug in your own common interest. Not sure if this is something you're interested in, but I'm actually running a fill in the blank. And it's actually been the program that fill in the blank with a personal anecdote that you have had. So for me, it might be, I'm actually doing T25. It's the program I actually lost all my baby weight with. I had a lot of success with, or PIO, it's what I went through chemo with, whatever it is. And anyways, not sure if this is something you'd like to know more about, but would you like me to reserve a spot for you? I actually have 2 spots remaining. Obviously, this Fearless Invite is with someone that I've talked to about challenge groups before. If it's someone that you've never talked to before about challenge groups, you can still say to them, hey, listen, I am running these challenge groups on Facebook. Not sure if this is something that you are interested in, but it's really cool. Give them a little bit of information about it. I have 2 spots remaining. Can I reserve you a spot? That's the Fearless Invite. You press it, you send it, and then you don't think twice about it. You just do it. And then you take a deep breath and you say, I survived. I did it. I just fearlessly invited and I feel okay. And then when somebody comes back and says, No, I'm so angry at you. How dare you send me this invite, you evil Beachbody coach you. You're kind of like, whatever. I invited you and I was fearless about it. I call that winning. And you're okay. You just are okay. But you have to invite. You have to invite. It never gets to the day where you say, I don't have to invite anymore. Everyone's going to come to me. You go out and you invite. Because it's kind of the right thing to do, too. We have something really, truly amazing. You know, the products are great. Our team environment is great. You know, the programs work. This is a foolproof method. We have financial success stories. We have physical transformation stories. We have emotional transformation stories. Why wouldn't you want to invite? This isn't about you. This is about them. So when you take you out of the equation and just focus on how it can help them, it's easy. It's easy. So I think that is really all I have for you guys tonight. But I wanted to see if you guys have any questions for me about the information I kind of gave. So if you want to unmute, go ahead and do that. Questions? Did I miss anything in the chat? Or are you guys just being really quiet tonight? Nada? You guys have nothing? Do you feel like you can fearlessly invite tonight? Liz Holly, is that a yes? I'm going to fearlessly invite tonight.
Yes, ma'am. I unmuted so I can say something. So sure. I missed part of your call because I was dealing with this crazy customer who has like 6 bags of Shakeology at their house. But anyways, what I wanted to say, and I don't know if you touched upon this at all. Sorry, Jason, he's distracting me. Men. So anyways, I can't. Okay. I'm so sorry, everybody. I wanted to say that I'm going to get out there and just like face-to-face invite, because I think sometimes you just need to do that, like connect with people in person. And so I think everybody on this call can do that too.
Can I actually call you out for a second and talk about what you did?
You sure can.
Yeah, I'm going to do this for a second because I haven't thought about this in a while. So Liz, this was probably like 2 months ago. I think it was right before Summit. Liz was pushing for Diamond. And she just was very fearless in how she approached it. And at one point she went into a J.C. Penney's like beauty store or something and just invited the beauticians there, just told them. And I don't even know if they ended up doing it.
They didn't. They did it.
They did. So, I mean, you just have to do it. You just have to get out there. And I almost think, and I am totally 100% guilty of this because I am very shy. And I know a lot of you guys don't know that or don't believe that. But I am not very good at talking to people outside of social media. I'm great behind a post, but when you put me in a large group in a party, I get nervous. Like my sister can talk to anybody. But if you put me in a group around people I don't know, I'm very anxious. So for me, it's very uncomfortable for me to talk to people outside of social media. But I also know the more I do it, the more comfortable I get. So when I go to a park, you know, like when I take the boys to a park, I go out of my way to just talk to the other moms there. I have this moment of, I feel like I'm going to die. I don't know what are they thinking of me? What are they going to say? And then I talk to them. You know, I just do it because I know if I'm making myself a little bit uncomfortable every time I do it, I'm going to get closer to my goals. It's going to make me a little bit more comfortable each time. And I remember when Liz was doing that, I remember having side conversations with Christina Hurley, who was also pushing towards a goal at that time. I think, and we would be like, I can't do that. Oh my God, what is she doing? And then we realized it was working and we're like, shoot, now I need to do it. Like I need to do it. Yeah. So I can't ask Liz to do it if I'm not going to do it. And I think about that all the time. I do. I really think about it.
Yeah. But I think like the thing is for me is that I thought from when I started that, oh yeah, it's gonna be so easy, like on Facebook. But sometimes I feel like in a Facebook invite, you can't feel the passion, and they don't see me smiling, and they don't hear me change my tone, and they don't see me like all giddy, you know, just excited, and you can't always get that through. And I think people, when they see you being real, it's just like contagious and genuine. And I'm not like a number on Facebook. You know, I have like big goals I'm going to talk to you about tomorrow. I'm going to like totally change this up with me and Jason with doing a lot of like going places and inviting. But I think it's just being confident in what we have and just putting it out there, and, you know, just how passionate, like I just believe it saves lives. You know, it saves people mentally and physically. And so it's awesome what we do.
Yeah. And I think sometimes too, and this might be where you're at in your business, where you're like, I haven't seen that yet. You know, you sometimes just, there's a couple things you can do. You know, if you feel like I haven't had my physical transformation yet, or I haven't had an emotional transformation, I don't feel connected to the business the way that other people do. And you might not have that financial success. I'm going to tell you that you will. Keep going. Don't give up. You need you matter. Like you can truly be successful at this. But I think more importantly than that is there has to be this sense of belief. You know, there has to be this sense of belief when you're talking about the product, when you're sharing it, and it's a belief in your customer. It's saying like, I believe that this person that I'm talking to right now could be the next, you know, I think it's like the $500 monthly winner. You know, I believe that I could help them create a substantial income so that they can be home with their babies. And there's that belief, like that, just that second of like, they can do it. I know they can. Like, I want to be the one that brings them to that. And there is nothing more rewarding than watching your coaches and your challengers succeed. Like that, you know, when you get your challenger and they tell you that they lost X amount of weight or the X, you know, a certain amount of pounds or whatever, how good that feels. But multiply that, you know, like having that ripple effect is huge. But it starts with something simple. It starts with inviting. It starts with the idea of fearlessly inviting to challenge groups. It starts with the idea of, I will not expect people in my organization to do things or my challengers to do things if I myself am not willing to do it too. Yep. And sometimes it's not fun, but you do it. Awesome. Do you guys have anything else? Let me see if I missed anything in the chat. Yeah, I know Katie is really good at that. Yeah. Taylor, not surprising at all.
That's all because of Liz Holly.
I know.
Oh, that girl.
I know.
She's a whole lot of goodness.
She's good. She's sweet too. I'm like, ooh. I go out in public and I'm like, ooh, you want to buy a challenge pack?
Just do it. Take a shot of E&E or Energize.
Yeah.
Just get super excited. Have a kid on your hip. People
I know.
don't say no when you have a kid on your hip. They're like, oh, your kid's so cute. I'm like, oh, hey, join my challenge group.
Okay, girlfriend. I'll do it. I'll do it tomorrow. Do it.
Oh, yeah. Just do a regular shot.
Yeah. But your fearless invite, I'm going to post it in the Knockout Brigade, and you guys are going to send it out tonight. So that is your call for the evening. I love you all. I hope you have a great night. See ya.